Let me tell you something that's going to make every contractor listening nod their head or maybe grind their teeth. You pay good money to a lead aggregator like Home Advisor, Modernize, whatever flavor of the month, and then the leads start pouring in and you're thinking, great, time to start making some money. But then what happens? You know the drill, right? You call, you text, you send emails, maybe you send smoke signals and nothing happens. If you finally do get somebody on the phone, it's more like, hey, I already hired somebody, or I just wanted to get a ballpark price. Here's the dirty truth. You didn't buy leads. You bought a list of people who don't care if you exist. And if you don't have an airtight system to reach them immediately, to follow up relentlessly and to actually build trust through your marketing, then you're just lighting your budget on fire. So today we're going to talk about why that happens and more importantly, how to fix it so you're not chasing ghosts and begging tire kickers. My name is Rich Harshaw. I'm the founder and CEO of Level 10 Contractor. And what we do is we help remodeling contractors and home service companies generate 200 to 500 leads a month reliably. How do we do that? Websites that sell, SEO that ranks, pay-per-click that scales, paid and organic social that engages, plus media campaigns including CTV. We've got 30 years of experience. I wrote a book called Unlocking Unlimited Lead Flow. I've helped hundreds of contractors lock in month after month, getting the lead flow that they need to make their business grow. So you're in the right place. Sometimes companies change their name in an effort to rebrand because they want to accentuate something new. We did this in our company. We went from being called Monopolize Your Marketplace for many years to Level 10 Contractor to really instill what we call the Level 10 ethos of doing things the right way. It suggests quality. Sometimes though, companies change their name to try to run away from their reputation in the marketplace. Like, I don't know if you remember this. If you do, it might be time to schedule a colonoscopy, but there was a company called Amway. Remember them? Amway, big multi-level marketing company, and they changed their name to Quickstar because they wanted to disassociate from, I don't know, being a multi-level marketing company. And it didn't work. They actually changed it back. Also, another example, Anderson Consulting became Accenture because they didn't want to be eternally linked to the Enron scandal. Philip Morris changed their name to, I think it's Altria, after their cover-ups were exposed. Kentucky Fried Chicken hoped that rebranding as KFC would obfuscate the finger-licking oily calories in their food, and it goes on and on and on. So it should have come as no surprise to anyone in the remodeling industry when the online lead seller called Service Magic decided to get new letterhead and business cards, and they updated their name to Home Advisor in 2012. It's been a while, but maybe you remember that. Back then, when they made that change, they said it had more to do with the dissatisfaction of the word magic than their actual name, and it was a shift to focus on home maintenance. I don't know, because they changed their name again when they partnered or merged, I think, whatever it was, with Angie's List, so now the whole thing's just called Angie. I'm not really sure about that, but you get the idea. They keep changing the name. You know, in my couple of decades-long career, 3 decades now, I guess, doing marketing in this industry, I've yet to find a single company who really likes these guys. The problem tends to stem from their tendency to sell the same internet-generated lead to 13 to 22, or whatever the number is, different competing contractors at the same time. It's an estimated number, okay? There are a few brave companies who have learned to tolerate Service Magic / Home Advisor / Angie, and, you know, maybe Quinn Street and Modernize are also kind of in that pile, but the majority they kind of have a hatred for the company that is normally reserved for the DMV. 6 a.m. flights, maybe Justin Bieber. I'm not super up on pop culture. Anyway, it's not just Service Magic. I mean, Home Advisor. I mean, it's any company that wants to sell you leads that they generate for you off the internet. The general name that we have for those kinds of companies, I just call them lead aggregators. In other words, they try to aggregate leads from the interwebs and then sell them to you. There's a lot of them, and they're all about the same. I mentioned Quinn Street earlier. There's also contractor.com, Get Service Leads, Renovation Expert. There's a lot of them out there. I've just named a few of them. There's probably, I don't know, hundreds, who knows. But alas, the purpose of this podcast is to discover what goodness we can potentially, maybe, possibly find in these online leads. So here's my advice to you, dear viewer, as you consider whether or not to dip your toe into the pool of online leads. Advice number 1, just don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay, that's pretty good advice, but let me give you advice number 2. If you insist on doing it, please bring your A+ game and get ready for a dogfight. Now, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you hanging. Let's dive into the details for both of these pieces of advice. Let me give you some reasons that you might want to just avoid the online lead aggregators altogether. First of all, there's just too much competition, and that's probably obvious, and it's also true. Those suckers, they're gonna sell that same lead to 3 or 10 or 20 other contractors who are gonna converge on that sad sack homeowner prospect like circling sharks. Their phones are gonna start ringing, their email's gonna get blown up, text messages. They're gonna regret that they ever, chose to submit that online lead form. It's very regretful. I mean, you could do this as a practical joke to maybe to your enemies. Just sign them up for Angie's List or something. But anyway, you've also got better things to do with your life than try to elbow out 17 other guys to pay, $1 for a kiss from an ugly girl. You're better than that. You don't have to do that. Also, leads by definition are price sensitive when they come from aggregators. The reason the girl in the last sentence is ugly, it's an analogy, play along, don't get upset. It's because those online lead generators screw you over by promising to get the prospects multiple quotes from pre-screened pros. I mean, that's the premise. If you look at their form, it literally says, we have matching kitchen remodelers in Southlake. Get quotes from up to 4 pre-screened pros right now. And then they fill out the form and then they send you the quote unquote pre-screened pros. The very first expectation is that they're going to get a low price from you. I don't know about you, but I don't offer the lowest prices and I'm not interested in doing that. But that's also who's going to answer the phone if a miracle occurs and you actually get through to a prospect. Somebody that's looking for the lowest price. That's who's on the phone. Okay, here's another reason why you might just want to skip this and spend the money generating the leads yourself. Let's say that you spend, let's call it $50 per lead and you get 20 leads. Chances are pretty good that you'll only get in touch with 1 or 2 of them, which means that you're actually really, truly, you're paying $500 to $1,000 for a lead. What else could you do with that kind of money? Well, the answer is lots of things. You could pay for SEO services. For starters, you could spend that money on pay-per-click advertising. You can intercept that exact same prospect, have them fill out the form on your own website or landing page, and then just have the lead all to yourself. It's a little bit harder, but if you have a great site, you can pull it off. It's doable. I recommend it. So here's my question to you. Have you ever bought leads from Home Advisor, Modernize, or any of those lead aggregators? How did you do it? Drop a comment below and let me know your experience, good, bad, or ugly. I'd love to hear your story. Okay, now let me give you some advice for people who insist on jumping into the shark-infested waters regardless of my repeated warnings. Some of you simply cannot resist the siren song, so you insist on participating in the feeding frenzy despite the warnings. That's okay. The truth is you can make some gold out of these leads, but you have to be disciplined and you have to have systems in place to make it happen. First thing, without a doubt, number 1, you have to react quickly. And by quickly, I mean like nanoseconds. You need to route the leads to somebody who has no other purpose in their entire life other than dialing the phone and getting through to that lead right freaking now. You can bet your life that there's other contractors who also just bought that lead that are going to get right on it. The stats on this topic are staggering. If you don't contact them within 5 minutes, the lead is 100 times less likely to be contactable. If you've ever bought an internet lead and called it an hour after it came in and were disappointed to find out why you couldn't get in touch with anybody, now you know why. So number 2, you have to be persistent. This is a little bit counterintuitive. I just told you that if you missed the first 5-minute window, then you're actually going to be dead meat. But actually, not necessarily. You see, when that lead first comes in, the prospect is going to get slammed by contractors for, maybe the first 24 hours. But then the calls are going to subside because all of your competitors are not very diligent. They're not doing a good job. That's true. And that's going to leave an opening to call, I'd say about maybe 24 to 36 hours after the lead comes in. You can still find some interested people. You just have to wait for the rush to subside. Persistence can pay off because think about it. They're going to get those billion calls in the first 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then they're going to subside. Now maybe they'll pay a little bit more attention. They'll see that call come in and they might answer it. Now, here's something really important. You need to get great software to automate your follow-up. If you don't already have a solid CRM in place, I don't know what to say to you at this point. I mean, come on. It's late enough in the game that you should have that done. If you don't, make it a top priority immediately. You'll also want to add a tool that can automatically send texts, drop voicemails, trigger instant responses without you ever having to lift a finger. There are even AI-powered options now that can personalize those follow-ups and keep your conversations alive until your team actually steps in, the humans. Bottom line, if you're not automating this, you're kidding yourself. A good system will reach each lead straight to the right person's phone or inbox in seconds, so nothing falls through the cracks. If you're getting value from this content, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button to the channel so you don't miss out on any future podcasts. Serious contractors need to subscribe. 200 to 500 leads is not what we dream, it's what we do. So hit that link and let's make it happen. You can also listen to me every day on the Level 10 Contractor Daily Podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast applications. Look, here's kind of the bottom line on this. Most of the companies that I know who have had success with lead aggregators, and there's many, they tend to be larger companies who put more resources into the follow-up, and they have systems for ensuring that things are done right and in a timely manner. It's not for everyone, but it can be done. Okay, how do you think that the home advisors of the world stay in business? There's a lot of people out there that are not just buying the leads, but they're actually having success with them. I mean, if nobody was getting in touch with these leads, then Home Advisor would cease to exist. That just makes sense. If you've got the right tools and you've got the right temperament, you just might want to take a look and see if you can make it work. Okay, well, hopefully that's helpful for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me. My email is rich@level10contractor.com, and I will talk to you next time.